Hello YouTubers, Charles here, back playing some more Satisfactory. Last time, we got our train lines in and working, including this public access, or personal access train that's just coming into the station here. And we've gone through about half of the content, or maybe let's say a little more than half the content of the new update. We set up aluminum processing up on the third floor here. We've got some trains in, and definitely we'll make more use of the trains in the future. But nuclear power was also added in. We haven't touched that yet, so let's try setting that up now. First thing we have to do though is to unlock it. And why does this look like it's not running at full? I'll have to investigate that in a minute. But nuclear power is over here, and let's say select milestone. Well, we have some computers here, and some motors, and some heavy frames. I think I actually did pull a lot of the materials. No. No. Must have dumped it off somewhere. Alright, let's we know where to get these, so we got the computers here. Maybe half of an additional stack. Something like that. Where did the 26 go? Motors are now up a floor. And right in here. Ooh, 400, that's a lot. 2, 3, and well, as soon as the lag stops, I can get the last. Oh, we'll take that stack, and let's go turn these in so we have enough room for the rest of it. Okay, and I just noticed I had some leaves and other junk. There, that looks wood. Alright, heavy frames should be here. Yes. Pick the right floor. That was too many actually, but you know, that's probably fine.
Milestone reached. With the provided buildings and parts, you can now set up nuclear power generation, which balances an increase of fuel production complexity with improved power output. Protective measures against radiation have been included. Note: this method of power generation creates nuclear waste.
Okay, well, I think I have a plan to deal with the nuclear waste. First thing though, I think we need to do is create a hazmat suit. Which apparently does not have an icon yet. Rubber, plastic, aluminum. Fabric's gonna be the hard one, actually. And then we need these filters, which need the original filters, which need more fabric. Coal, rubber, and fabric. Alright, I'll create that on my own. Let's first go over briefly my plan. Hopefully briefly. If we have a Mark III miner on a normal node, and if we go to the map here, and this is the node in the cave, and it is normal. There's one other node here, and I believe they just updated the map, and there's a third node somewhere, but this map hasn't been updated yet. Anyway, with a Mark III running at 250%, you can get 600 uranium a minute. So if we use 596 uranium a minute, we can make like 5.3 fuel cells per minute. Since a fuel cell runs for 5 minutes, that means with 5.3 times 5, we can run basically 26 nuclear power plants, 26 and a half, constantly, which is a lot of power. I believe each makes 250 megawatts, so like 1.5 plants would, you know, cover all the power of just the production of the fuels, and the other, 24 then, would just be lots of power, more than we're currently making. But this looks complex, or at least somewhat complex. You need iron, you need copper, even more copper. You need some caterium, coal, limestone, and crude oil. Basically, almost every material, not quartz or aluminum, but nearly every other material. Yeah. And this is using some alternate recipes so that we can get, improved efficiency. Okay. So, let's iron, copper, limestone, coal, oil, and caterium is what's needed. Yeah, my idea is to have the whole nuclear power right here. This is like, we have trucks going this way and like coming this way. We're gonna use one of these coppers. We're gonna use the limestone. This is where we're loading up the bauxite, but just in this area here. And any nuclear waste we generate, we can load into a truck and then have that truck drive itself into this infinite pit. Not all the time, but just on occasion. And hopefully that will take care of our nuclear waste problem. But because we're getting the uranium from here, I don't want to run a belt and then like always have, you know, radioactivity in that tunnel. So I think I'm gonna do a train, and you know we can have the train run only when we're need, you know, more uranium ore. The problem with that is I don't think trucks can really get over the train tracks well, so I turned off the truck we had running through here, but we now have the public access train, and that is like 3 or 4 times faster for getting to my second base, so that's not really going to be an issue. But you know, we have the copper here, we have limestone. We can bring in iron from here, coal from here. The caterium, that's a bit harder. I wonder if I could run a train. Like there's these coal here. Coal, copper, caterium, and iron. I believe this is the little lake after driving up. No, this is the lake. But this is right on the other side of that lake. And it wouldn't be too bad to do a train line to here. And that would bring everything except the uranium, which would have its own train line. Yeah, so I'm gonna start setting this up, and I'll be back in just a bit. We'll see how that goes. Okay, I have a quick little update. I'm over here, and I've set up a platform. We're about 10 foundations wide, 25 long, and that should be more than long enough for anything that we need to make. I think the most we need is like 20 constructors. There's less of the larger machines. I haven't actually checked how many like assemblers we need at most for a particular thing, but like we can fit all the foundries for the iron and copper, and then like that would feed into like making copper wire, or you know, and then we'd have another floor where then we take the rest of the iron and combine it with coal to make steel, and then convert that into pipes, and then convert the pipes into the industrial beams and things like that. So we're gonna have a good 7-8 floors on this. I've also set up a train station here. This is for the normal materials that we need. This will be iron. There's 5 unloading stations here. 1 for iron, 1 for copper, 1 for coal, 1 for caterium, and then 1 for rubber. We'll have a separate station that will handle just the uranium, and that will probably be on the back here and a few floors up, so we keep all the radiation as high up as possible and away from where we will be on the ground. And then at the end of things, probably over in the corner there, I'll set up some kind of you know, vehicle station, and we'll make platforms like these, maybe like over to there. So I would drive a truck with the recording on over there, and then back, and like set it on a loop. And only once it was going, we would then, you know, connect conveyor belts down to bring the nuclear waste to the supply station. It would load the truck completely up. Then I'd disconnect the conveyor belts to stop, you know, the nuclear waste from collecting in there. And then as the truck drove, I'd remove some of these platforms so the truck would fall into the abyss, thereby hopefully getting rid of the nuclear waste. But that should, you know, it'll take quite a while before we have to do that. We'll be producing a lot more power than we need, so the nuclear waste won't build up that quickly. I've also started a rail line now. You know, it loops here, and as you can see, hopefully, it goes all the way up to there. That's actually where I ran out of materials. I had to go get some more. But from there, it should be a straight shot over to where we will be getting the iron, copper, and caterium, and coal. Well, we'll have to then extend the line to get coal and then also oil. I'm probably gonna reuse like the oil that we're currently picking up, kind of over there. We're not tapping quite all of the spots yet, and even the ones we are tapped, we're not quite using all of it. So yeah, I'll be back with another update once I have the train line in and maybe a floor or two of production over here. Left plenty of room so we can get materials up here using the conveyor lifts. So yeah, that's where we are right now. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I'm back. This is actually the next day for me, and it doesn't look like I've done too much work, but I've actually done quite a bit. We have the first floor here, with all the machines set up for it, and we have a train station here. Actually, I've also built a PAX, personal access, public access, whatever, train station there. And I've actually built a track back to the main factory, because it makes getting around easy. I can just hop a train now to get over here. It's not too far, but it beats driving the car. And I've extended the track past where it ended before. Way past, in fact. Let's try to show that off. So this is my main factory, and this is about where I'm standing. If I turn off some of these nodes here. So here was the station at the main base. I've kind of put a T-junction at each end, and that comes all the way over here to our, what hopefully will be our nuclear facility. Also a T-junction at each end. There's the personal station. Here's what's going to be the freight station. And then I've extended the track to here, where we have this is an iron node, a copper node, and a caterium node, and they get loaded in the first 3 cars of the train. We have a station here. This is a coal. Actually, that's not entirely correct. This is the copper here is overclocked by 50%. So is this one. And then the track extends over to here, which is our oil production. Actually, split it here. You'll see why, but there's a public access station, which is a little higher up. And then this is the freight station, which is a little lower down. So the track splits up here, and this goes down, and there's a turnaround, and then the upper one also has a turnaround Oh, I should remove that track. I was originally going to have this come down here, but there's a low overpass that it goes through. Anyway, we also now have 10 rubber production refineries here. This oil was untapped. It is now tapped, and I've also overclocked it by 50% to get us 180 per minute. This used to merge into this line, which together these two produce 300 a minute and go into these 10 rubber producers, which soak up 300 per minute and convert it into rubber, which gets loaded onto the last car of the train. The others are empty platforms. So let's set up the train and get that working. Apparently it's turned night. That's not sure if that's supposed to be the moon or another planet or whatnot. Is that moving? Actually, it is slightly, huh? Alright, well, we can hopefully handle this. Actually, I should have checked if I had the necessary materials, but I don't think the freight cars take too much. Sure, we have plenty of materials. So we have our train here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's make sure you're all set up right. Well, it's at Nuke Mats is where it is right now. Nuke Mats 1 is the iron, copper, and caterium, and that should be the last. We want to go coal, rubber, Nuke Mats 1, and then back. I have just end of line here. So that it stops. Doesn't go anywhere. How do I change which station is the next stop? What we can do is move each of these up one. Alright, so nuke coal, rubber, this is iron, copper, caterium here. And let's get rid of end of line. And now if I close this, it should go on a nice ride, and I will try to ride on top of it. Alright, it is taking off. Up the hill here. This is a little difficult to put in, but I managed to figure it out. There's a limit on how steep you can make it, and sometimes I'm running just the edge of that. There's also a limit to how much it can turn. Like this, I think, is like a maximum steepness section right here. Yeah, so I have set up all the other stations and the miners and everything, so they should all be full at this point. So all we have to do is pick this stuff up and bring it back. Little downhill section here. This is the lake. We have our trucks come up and around. And actually some of them will go under here to go up that ramp and off to other places. There's the iron miner. We should be going around this station. Yep. That's the caterium, and there is the copper. Alright, and that's the coal station, which we should be stopping at. The coal comes from a little ways over these cliffs here. You see the belt there. I hope we're saving here. Just about in the station here. Alright, looks like we're loading up. Okay, looks like we're all set. We should be starting to move out now. Downhill here, this is a poison area, but we should get through the little gas without trouble. Yeah, just a little section where it just starts to tint your view. Turn down here, and we're heading downhill. There's one place where I'm probably gonna have to leave the train. This outing goes to the pack station, but like right here, the train basically barely gets through that. But I wouldn't riding it, at least. So this should be all full of rubber. We have our 10 rubber refineries. Let's land here for a second, recharge our... So this was into there. There was no oil drill there, whatever you want to call it. And I'm probably gonna miss the train. Alright. Come on. Oh, just barely made it. Alright, let's try to catch this train. Well, just barely didn't catch it. Yeah. Low hanging. Whatever that is, coral. Kind of hoping I'd catch it on the uphill here. Yeah, there's one more stop though, which hopefully I will catch it on. Okay, it is going up through that previous station. I was thinking it would bypass it. Maybe because this isn't... We'll flip it. I think that will make it bypass it next time. Because I don't want it going like backwards through the station if it doesn't have to. And it's now... You're supposed to be pulling into that station. What happened? I'm gonna try to reprogram that train on the go. There we go. You can name the trains, but I found the names don't stick between saves and loads. I mean, you're supposed to be going to Nuke Mats 1. Which is here. Not sure why it bypassed this station. I think it went down there, is now turning around and coming back. Which doesn't make sense to me, but we'll see what it does. You know, it should have come straight through and stopped here. I don't know if it depends on the order I built these in. I mean, I built this first with a turnaround, and then I later changed it to, you know, a T-junction to get over to there. Oh, here comes the train again. And it didn't unload the back two compartments, so... It's a little weird, but whatever. I wonder if it... I'll have to check the recording to see if it literally drove through this or if it bypassed it. Maybe I have to switch. No, that should make it go this way, which is straight through it. Maybe it's a problem with this station. The train is 5 long, but I only need to fill the first 3, so I don't think I need to put empty station platforms for the other 3. Like, this will probably work now. But I'm not sure why it did it the first time. So it's iron, copper, and caterium. Okay. Ooh, that was a bit of lag there. Yeah, with this being so steep and the station being basically at the bottom of the hill, I'm not surprised the brakes are on the whole way down. Another bad patch of lag. There we go. Wondering it's because the first factory and this thing are both visible at the same time. And gotta remember to put the little feet over here. Support the building. Alright, well, we're pulling in now. As of right now, it's the copper that we will need the most of. Although, in reality, it's the rubber, but hey, we don't have that set up yet. So we got the copper and iron coming up here. They go into 10 foundries with the alternate iron. They would go into 10 foundries with the alternate iron recipe if I had this set up right. There we go. So each of these produce 45 iron per minute. So we get 450. We put it on the now 480 belt. And then using the alternate iron wire recipe, and we produce wire. We have 19 of these. We need 18 and a fraction. So we have the first 6.5. This one we split, so half goes this way and half goes that way. So the first 6.5 goes on a belt here, and that is used for one thing, and all the rest are then put on 2 other belts, and they're used for something else. Let's check out what those things are. Okay, the first 6.5, which actually gives us a little bit more than that, goes for circuit boards, and the rest go to stators. So, yeah. We have, though, excess copper, though, that gets smelted into ingots, which will be used then to make quick wire. So that's over here. So this top line is copper after we feed off to make the iron. We have 6 smelters, which is, we need like 5.3 or something like that. So yeah, I'm always trying to overdo. Make sure we have enough. There is excess iron, or I believe there should be. Let's go double check that. Yeah, about 170 minute that we'll need to make steel out of. And that is right here. Probably could put this down to a Mark III belt instead of Mark IV, but it's not really causing any problems. So let's wait here until the train gets back, and I'll be with you in a moment. Well, I just watched the train on the map, and it bypassed the Material 1 station again. It's now just sped through this station and is now heading back to the Material 1 station. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but I kind of consider that a bug because it's definitely not taking the shortest path. It is getting there, but not efficiently. So we'll have to see if that gets fixed in an update. Okay, it's just a minute later or so. See, the train here is on its way back. In fact, we should be seeing it. There it is. And it should unload this time. Now that it is all full. Well, it was all full before. It never unloaded the first time. Here it's pulling in this station, and in a second it should start unloading. Alright, picking up the cargo. Okay. Yeah, here come the items. Here we go. Now, this is a manifold, so things will take a bit of time to back up before, like, the copper isn't going to get down there for a few minutes. But you can see we're already getting lots of iron ingots out. And yeah, should be even producing some wire at this point. And we're even getting some on the second belt. No, and we actually are starting to get a little bit of copper. Obviously, not the rate we want, but yeah. Lag and jetpacks don't really mix. Yeah, we only need something like 350 copper a minute, so we're supplying 400 with the belt, so that should help get things backed up a little on the quicker side. Yeah, this is kind of starved for copper at the moment, but once the first few machines back up, because they, you know, take 15 a minute, and we're supplying like 60 to the first machine, so they should back up relatively quickly. Once this hits 100, it'll only take 15 a minute, and the rest will head on down the line. Obviously, no iron has made it down here yet, but that'll happen with time too. Oh, these are almost backed up already. They produce pretty quickly and don't actually take that much. What is it? Again, it's 15 a minute for these, so. Well, we're not quite producing. Well, we should produce, yeah, 450. The belts can handle 480. They were upgraded with this latest patch. Well, with the patch that introduced trains and stuff to early access, let's say. So, that, I think, about does it for this first floor. The next floor, ooh, don't fall to the ground, please. Thanks. The next floor, I think I will do steel. Oh, let's quickly look. We can definitely do steel and then convert it into pipes. This should be the most. I'm wondering if we can do caterium and a quick wire as well, although assemblers are wider. That may not fit. The foundries are square wide. Constructors are square wide. So this would be like 8. We'd need 6. These are a little wider than 1 square wide, so not sure these would fit as well. I'll have to see how things go. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this episode here. This has taken me like almost 3 days to put together everything. And I think I'm close to my usual hour time, but I'm probably under a bit. But adding another floor on here will make me take another day. So I'll show you that in the next episode. I'm not sure we'll finish this in the next episode, but I'm expecting this to be at least 8 floors with the reactors on the top. Hopefully I'm going to try to keep all the radiation causing stuff at the top so you can be at the bottom down here without an issue. But I'll see you guys next time with some more Satisfactory. See you then.